Hello there, Fresno, and welcome back to the Wednesday edition of Central Valley Business. I'm your host, Lauren Baker, filling in for Mike Scott, and we're here today with Ruth Medlin of Ruth Medlin Consulting. Welcome, Ruth.
Hi, Lauren. Good to see you.
Nice
Thanks for having me today.
We are so happy to have you here today.
Thank you.
Tell us all about your company and what you have to offer Fresno and the neighboring counties.
I'm happy to do that. Well, my business is Ruth Medlin Consulting, and I work with businesses, government entities, and folks that just really need some assistance either in the fields of training, meeting facilitation. And my whole philosophy really started about 4.5 years ago when I decided that it was time to hang up my government booties, because I used to work for Tulare County. Loved that job. It was a great job for me. But I had really always wanted to go out on my own.
Yeah.
And so I made the leap about 4.5 years ago now. And one of the things that I really knew that I wanted to accomplish was to have a consulting business that really was business friendly.
Yeah.
And what that meant to me was to not only be a good trainer or a good coach or a good teacher or a good facilitator, it also meant that I developed relationships with people.
Yeah.
We were talking just a little bit before we went on air today, and I mentioned to you that I didn't want to be that person that was kind of dashed in and did a training or did a meeting facilitation and then dashed back out, and nobody really knew who I was.
Yeah.
So to me, the most important part of my business was to develop those relationships with people that wanted to do business with me so that we had a understanding of each other, that we trusted and believed in each other. And in essence, I kind of became one of their employees for a while because I was actually working with them or with their company.
Yeah, you get integrated into the chemistry of these particular people.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the cornerstones of my success. I work with a company, I'm working with a company right now, and one of the things that the vice president always says to me is, well, you know, I really like it when you come and work with us because I feel like you're one of us. And to me, that's the greatest compliment that I could hear, is that I am part of that team, whether I'm working for them every single day or whether I come in and do a training and then leave, I'm still considered a part of that team. So that's been a real important cornerstone to my business.
Yeah, I imagine so, because I mean, even if it's not just to facilitate people like learning how to communicate properly with each other, I think they're also more motivated to do that when there's someone that can actually help them understand each other, not just actually say the things they need to say, but to also hear it. And it's easier when there's another person that knows how to do that already there and they're comfortable with.
Absolutely. You nailed it right there. That's exactly right. Yes.
Now, how do you find companies to work for? Like, do they come to you? Like, how do you know, like, is it usually the same sort of issue that they want? Like, what do you get the most requests for?
Mm-hmm. Good question. Well, you know, my business is in Tulare County. I work in other counties, but my business is in primarily Tulare County. And one of the things I can tell you as being a lifelong resident of Tulare County is people want to know you first. They want to establish a relationship with you. They want to know, oh, you live in Tulare, where'd you go to school, who are your parents, those kinds of things, because that to them signifies, oh, I knew your mom, or I knew your dad, or I feel like I can trust you. Mm-hmm. So I worked really hard in the beginning to do a lot of networking, to meet or re-meet people perhaps that I'd known before but didn't necessarily know that I was going into business for myself. So I worked really hard at establishing or reestablishing those hi, how you doing kind of situations. And I think that in the long run that's definitely paid off because people now know who I am, what I do, and it's kind of an old adage to say, but my reputation kind of precedes me. It's like I don't have to do a lot of networking any longer because people really do know who I am.
And that's great when it's with a positive connotation as well.
Amen to that. We wouldn't want it to be the other way around.
Yes, because those
sure.
can be hard to erase depending on what it is.
Right.
Gosh, what was I going to say here? I admire that you were able to break out and do something on your own as well, because not everyone is able to do that, and I'm glad that's been successful for you. What has been your favorite part of doing this since becoming your own boss, essentially?
Right. Well, the thing that always kind of held me back before was fear. Fear of a steady paycheck or lack thereof, fear of who's going to pay my health insurance and so on. So one of the big factors, I think, in leaving the county and then establishing my own business was that I was no longer fearful. I made that leap and I made it work for myself. So with that, it kind of erased that whole fear base that I had, and that I knew that I could do what I had set out to do. So it was a great feeling inside for me to know that, you know what, I can really do this. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
How can businesses contact you if they want to facilitate your services?
Sure. Well, I have a website. It's www.ruthmedlinconsulting.com. All my contact information is there. I also have a very active Facebook page, Ruth Medlin Consulting, that people can see what's going on in my work world, as well as people can contact me through emails, my phone number. I think we're going to list that on the bottom screen here in a few minutes. So there we are. So yeah, a variety of ways to contact me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, Ruth.
Thanks.
We're happy to have you. We hope that you'll all take I cannot speak right now. I hope you will all take advantage of this wonderful opportunity that's here in Fresno, because it is important to work well with the people that you have to see every day. So this is Ruth Medlin of Ruth Medlin Consulting. Stay right here. We'll be right back after these messages.